welcome everybody to the 1% Solution and Living Motion Monograms weekly live stream here. I'm going to make a little correction here. And want to welcome all of you guys to the stream here today. Hope you guys had a good 2 weeks off. And that you guys have been crazy busy recently. So let me go ahead and fix something here. Always got to be something. All right. So today we're going to be. I'm Mike Anderson with the 1% Solution and Living Motion Monograms. Today we are going to be talking about some cool moments that have happened in May, and hopefully maybe inspire you guys to create some unique moments of your own for future events, or maybe just give you guys some ideas of some of the things you could be doing. I want to welcome Ian into the stream today. Thanks so much, Ian, for joining us. I definitely really appreciate that. And if you guys have had moments this past since the beginning of the year that you'd like shared, make sure you toss the information into the chat, and we'll definitely get to it during the stream itself. I just thought it would be a really great idea to be able to do this for you guys, because really what I want to do is I want to be able to brainstorm with DJs all over the United States and just get a feel for what be able to share those ideas just to generate more referrals. And some of the ideas I'll share with you today of things that we did in May, I guarantee you have or will generate those referrals in the future. And I hope you guys are going to end up liking them as well. The first thing is that we're going to kind of cover is we've talked about the shadow entrance a lot. We've talked about some of the cool things that we can do from with the 1% Solution in Volume 5 on how to do the shadow entrance. We kind of covered it also in Volume 7, where we got the opportunity to share with you some of the other details of how to do it with, say, with a projector. And I think that with that, the creativity has just kind of gone through the roof. I've seen some really great moments from you guys, and creative ideas of using a projector. The reason I got so excited about it was because now all of a sudden it's not just a white light behind them. We can generate anything that we want behind them. And as a starting point, we're gonna go with something that happened. I was asked to be a part of a retirement ceremony for a great officer in our neck of the woods in Placer County, and he, during the beginning part of the show, they were talking about wanting to do a color guard routine. You guys, sometimes if you see a color guard, it's not the happiest of times if we've got a down officer, but when we do have the color guard there, to present the flags for happy occasions, sometimes they like to have a little bit of fun with it. And I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but sometimes you'll see a routine where they'll actually get into kind of a Simon Says almost. It's basically do what I do. And in this case, one of the ideas I presented to him was, why don't we, from the guest perspective, have the guests see not the man up front who's going to be basically doing one set of moves, and then all the guys behind him do another set, or do that same thing to repeat what he did. But why don't we make them even bigger and put them in the background? And I think I'm going to go into this. Bring down the volume a little bit here. And as I come and get into place here, we had the table up front for the guests of honor, which was a challenge because, of course, it was blocking the screen that we wanted to use, but I think we were able to kind of maneuver around it a little bit. And here is where the shadow starts. So as you guys can see there, basically it kind of culminates to the man behind the screen doing some ridiculous, ridiculous moves, and in no way can anybody in that room expect for the other guys to be able to copy what he just did. And and I'll be honest with you, the way this turned out, this was not the original idea. The original idea was that white shadow that you just see right there on the screen. And while it was happening, I mean, it really is the main so sorry if you missed it all there. And I'm not sure why you guys are having issues with the stream. I've got not dropping any frames or anything right now, but try select and turn down the if you're on wireless connection, try turn down the quality on the video and lower right there. See if that'll help. As far as for buffering, but the whole reasoning behind the 1% solution is that you're taking it's not just making the event 1% better. And Brandy explains this best, and I'll try and do my best to explain it, but it's taking all the little moments of the day, making each one of those moments 1% better to get a much, much better, more than 1% outcome of the entire event. So, that really is that main concept behind the 1% solution. And so what I did is to implement that into this moment was that we were doing the white, and I said, you know what? Let's see if this looks better. And I tossed up the image of the American flag, behind him, and the clients lost their minds. They just said, "Wow, that's amazing. Let's do that. Yeah, we definitely have to do that." And it got a lot of attention. It got a lot of publicity because we had press and cameras there and everything. And it made for just a really great moment, a really great start to the rest of the event of the night. So I was definitely honored to be a part of that as well. As we come back, actually same facility, but we're going to get into weddings a little bit. And if you guys have questions on any of these ideas, make sure you toss them in the chat there. Let me know what you guys think of it, and or even questions on how we were able to make it happen. Same concept, same facility. But let's get into weddings, mainly what we do. And for this one, this next couple, we just had a blast with this. And I do apologize, you may not hear much sound because of YouTube copyrights. I don't want to end up flagging this video, so no worries if you do not hear sounds during this one. But whoop, there you go. So I'm going to kind of crank it down a little bit so that the song in the background doesn't quite take over the stream itself. But on this one, by being able to use video, we're able to create some really, kind of eye-popping moments for the guests. And, taking that to the next level of even if it was something as simple as just kind of a crossfade like that into textures or any type of motion loop, works really well. We did the LED star curtain there on that one, and let's see if I guess I don't have the setup to replay, but you can see on the same exact facility, but we covered the drapes with the LED star curtain. And for this couple, they were actually coming in and going right into their first dance. And so when the screen came up, we had the the curtains behind them basically close, so that we had, you know, a nice solid surface. And then, you know, they went right into their first dance, which made for an amazing backdrop as well for the first dance itself. And again, we're not using just, you know, regular light source like a Source 4 or anything like that. What we're using is, you know, a video projector. And for this, you know, we were kind of limited on the actual stage depth to this, and sometimes I have a hard time with that because we need to have quite a bit of throw in order to make the image large enough. This is not a widescreen format. This is a drop-down screen that, as you can see, is square, or kind of a 4:3 format. And so, you know, for this particular facility, a lot of times I use kind of the mirror bounce trick, where I'm actually projecting onto a mirror, and then having the image bounce off the mirror itself, just to give me a little bit extra depth, and in turn, it gives me a larger image to project onto the screen. So that really does, you know, again, it's taking those moments and being able to find just kind of a creative, unique way of doing it. That was kind of a simple way of just using some very small motion loop clips that we found online. But if you wanted to take it kind of a next step further, this past weekend, we had, and I for this next one, audio may come up, and I might have to like sing along to let you know what song it is. But for the song itself, for the introduction, we ended up using, and I bribed the videographer to give me some video of this. So it's definitely raw footage, but definitely special thanks to him for providing that for me. Really appreciate it. Chad was working this event, and you know, for this, what we ended up doing was, let's see if this is it. Yeah, this is it. So introducing the wedding party. Like I said, it's unedited, so you're gonna see Chad jump in the shot here, which is not a big deal because he's got multiple cameras. But as you can see, we started off with the hearts in the background, and with that song, and hopefully that will that's enough music. It won't actually flag me here. And you know, on top of the hearts, we started having flames shoot in. And this is actually using a method where some of the motion loops are what they call alpha. I have an alpha channel on them. And basically, the alpha channel is just a name for in the video, you know, code itself in the video. And I can show you guys here in a second what we're able to do utilizing like Vegas Pro or just Sony Vegas. And what it allows you to do is actually tell it, hey, you know, this clip has an alpha channel and I want that to be translucent. So for this event, you can see that I, you know, encouraged them to, and they went into a welcome.
Really thank everyone for being here tonight. This is really awesome.
Passing over the mic, oh dear. So, yes, we want to thank you, all of you, for being here. This is crazy. Like, oh my goodness, amazing. So let's just make sure I want to dance with every single one of you. By the way, we just got a party tonight, so let's get it started. Yeah.
No, it's just a different point of view on that shot there. So it definitely made for a memorable moment. Just having the flames there was, you know, and it's mainly the idea came about the song itself. If you guys know the song, why am I spacing on the song we ended up using? You guys can help me out in chat here. I have to sing it in my head here. Oh yeah, Let It Rock. So Let It Rock. Yeah, by Kevin Rudolph. So Let It Rock by Kevin Rudolph, great kind of high energy song, but the beginning of the song starts off as it goes into the chorus is, when I arrive, I bring the fire. Make you see, I'm horrible at singing. I'm not gonna even try. So and so that the whole fire reference, and you got to know your couples enough to know like what's going to work out. They were jokesters. I mean, they were just rock crawling type people. He builds rock crawlers. They go out and make these insane moments happen in their lives as far as just having a good time. And that's where I kind of draw inspiration from. Both sides of the family, very outgoing, big jokesters. And that's what, those are some of the kind of clients I love working with because they're always open to new creative ideas for stuff. So, and like I said, we're going to get into kind of showing you a little bit about, those the alpha channels. And you guys see the we have up here our Sony Vegas. One of the ways to utilize those alpha channels. Let's go ahead and bring up some. Let's look at my fire loops. We're going to look for video here. Fire. So we got alpha channel flames. Put this on our desktop here for a moment. And it took some hunting and kind of figuring out where these would be. At least this setting. Okay, and there we are. Bring it in here. Set the settings. So right here, this window up here, you can see that our background is black. And for these flames, it's we want to get rid of that. And basically the way we're able to do that is to right click on that video clip, and as we go to properties and into media, we've got color space. And I am wrong. Let's see, reduce. There we are. So let's try that again. If you right click on the video itself and go to properties, then under media, you'll see down on the left side here, we've got like alpha channel. There's actually a section of alpha channel and it says none. And you can go straight unmatted and what, or undefined. Let's see, none. And we're going to have to add in something behind it because our default backdrop is let's use our see a photo of this. So this photo is on top, so we're going to swap that and drag that layer down below. And then by going into properties, media, and go into that alpha channel section, we're going to go unmatted. There we are. And you guys can also see that in the timeline here, might be a little hard to see that. See if we can make it bigger for you. you can see that the flames themselves are pretty much translucent in the timeline. So now when we're playing this, you can see that we've got just kind of a translucent flame over our video or our photo or video clip. And that just lets us, now all of a sudden we can have, monograms in there. We can do other videos itself. That's how I was able to kind of loop it over the, keep it shuffled. Ian says, yeah, we just keep it shuffled intro them. I haven't done that yet. That would be a fun idea. I've always loved the idea, and I've done this a few times. It always worked out pretty well. But I think it takes, certain facilities to be able to pull it off. Is to do an introduction with the right song and the right bride and groom, and we bring them in and onto the dance floor, and from there it's we invite the guests. Hey, they want to start the celebration off the right way. Come on out and join them, and just for one song, all out, have a good time for 5-10 minutes, and then at the end of that short, quick, fun set, it's like, all right, everybody, now to continue the night, we're gonna have you guys, be seated for the start of our dinner service. But what a way to start such a great event. And I think that is, it definitely amps up the energy, lets them know, hey, we're here to have fun. And that is kind of one of those key things. And that, you really want to look for those moments. When are those moments of the day where things are going to start lagging or kind of slowing down a little bit? Are you going to have a lot of toasts? Is there 4 or 5 or 6 people you're checking with to see if they're going to give a toast? That might be a lengthy time of toasting. Then you might want to suggest to the clients, hey, we should do something to create laughter or, energy right before this happens. Because right after that, we've got, your first dance and, a series of slow songs for our parents' dances and everything. So I'm always looking for those kind of moments to where we can amp up the energy to kind of carry us into, into that dancing portion. So it's not such an uphill battle when we do invite the guests out to the dance floor. So you want to look at the event as a whole and kind of analyze your timeline that you've created. Every once in a while, and recently I got, I had a coordinator who said, oh, no, we're going to do, first dance, father, daughter, mother, son, and then we're going to go into cake cutting. I said, okay. That's about the worst idea I've ever heard. First and foremost, I always try and work up. I always start things off with, okay, why? Is there, what's the reason behind that? Because there may be a really good reason that I don't know about or I don't see. And it keeps me from putting my foot in my mouth. But I know for a fact that if we go from, our ceremonial dances, which kind of start the dancing off, then all of a sudden, we go into cake cutting, that's going to be really hard recovery. It's coming from, cake cutting where the clients are off on the other side of the room cutting the cake and the guests aren't really, it's hard to get them as a part of that moment or at least push everybody over to that area and then go, all right, now come on back over here and start dancing. Again, uphill battle that those are those uphill battles we're trying to navigate around and make to where we don't have to deal with them, at an event to make a much better result, and make things a lot easier to create that celebratory atmosphere that the clients are looking for, if that's what they want. So we've got that little insight on that. And for those of you guys just joining us, hey, make sure you sound off in the chat, say hi, let me know that you guys are there. Of course, we got Ian and everything there. We've got, didn't get a chance to say hi to Rhythm Masters over there, our San Francisco friends. Definitely appreciate that. And Jaddy, okay, I'm lost there. Jade, I think Jade. There we go. I appreciate you subscribing. Hey guys, don't forget, if you subscribe, you're going to see your names pop up there, right there on the screen there. And it definitely helps out. If you guys want to be notified of the videos that are going to be coming up, we usually do live streams on Mondays. Now the time may change to about, thinking about doing about 10 a.m. So let me know if that also still works for you guys here today. And that'll let us know about that. Because we may be doing a slight little change in timing. I want to do something that's maybe fits a lot more of everybody to be able to watch. And then, so our next thing is we've talked about shadow entrance, but what about, just kind of cool creative moments? There's going to be things where, if you talk to your clients enough, one of the questions I always ask them is, is there anybody close to you that's not able to make it to the wedding? Now, usually what I try and do is I don't ask the clients this question. I always talk to the parents before the day of the wedding and, ask them, a few questions. Are there any surprises I don't know about that I should, that they don't know about, to tell me? And usually that question is no. Every once in a while, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to surprise them with, a honeymoon that they don't know about. Everybody chipped in to send them on a honeymoon that they couldn't afford. And so then, I talk to them more about that because I can help make the, moments themselves better, and be able to add to it and help them out a lot. So, I also ask, and this is where I talk to the parents and say, is there anybody really close to them that, isn't able to make it to the wedding? This could be, grandparents. This could be brothers, sisters, cousins. And I think you want to find out, how close they were. So if this is, oh yeah, their neighbor isn't able to make it to the wedding. It's like, oh, did they grow up with them? Well, yeah, they were neighbors for a couple of years and then they moved out. And that's not really the really, really close people that would probably have an impact on the event. But for this next one, I found out from mom that the bride's best friend was very, very, very pregnant and wasn't allowed to travel. She was, and I go, wow, okay, so and the mom said she was supposed to be the maid of honor, and isn't able to make it to the event. And I said, okay, I have an idea. Basically, I've got a hotline set up people can call into, and what it allows us to do is they can leave a message at any time they want, and then it sends me an audio clip of the voicemail. And we had her send that in. And, usually what I try and do is talk with the parents, and if they're giving a toast at the wedding, then at that point I go, let me work with you on this, because I would really, I'd really like for you to present this. I think that the result most of the time turns out better when they present it. And that's what we ended up doing for, in this case. Sometimes you have to be careful, because what you don't want, if you don't have time to explain it to them, is for something to happen where it's, dad's giving a toast and he goes, oh, and I think someone called in and left you a message. And it's like that doesn't set it up very well to have an emotional beginning to it. So I'm going to let you guys watch this clip here, and you can let me know what you think here.
Someone very special to you who wanted to be here tonight but couldn't. So this is for the two of you.
Hi, Chelsea May. Hi, Casey. It's Danny. Congratulations to you and Casey, and I'm sorry I missed your day. Chelsea, I don't know if you remember, but I made a wish on my 21st birthday that God would fill the space in your heart. I believe in all of mine that in a way he did. He filled that space with Casey and Camille. You two deserve nothing but all the love and happiness that this world has to offer. I love you, and I wish you two a long and happy marriage.
Oh, yeah, okay, back to copyright issues. We'll turn that down there. But just, it was something presented by mom to the bride, and watch what happens. I mean, this does... They're supposed to say something after this, and they completely forget about it. But the whole point behind this is that we were able to take her best friend, one who's supposed to be her maid of honor, and not just make her, thinking about her on the wedding day, but actually make her a part of the wedding day. And I think that's important, where there's a difference between congratulating and saying congratulations for the wedding day and actually being a part of the events of the day. Immediately following this, I was, on the phone with the videographer saying, hey, is there a way you can get me a clip? And by the way, if you can edit that clip real quick and get something to, you know, the bride, I bet you anything she would think the world of being able to, you know, send a link to her best friend, you know, to show how much that moment meant to her. And immediately following this, you know, the day after the wedding, and I think I still have it here. I have one of the tools I have is that clients can go in and review the service in their event login. But immediately after the day, I get, you know, on my Facebook page, I've got mom and the bride both putting comments on there. And here it is. Where, you know, rating everything is fantastic. Putting, you know, incorporation of your request, effects, lighting, planning, assistance, fantastic entertainers, cooperation with other vendors, fantastic overall performance rating, fantastic. She likes the word fantastic. Additional, she goes, everything was so perfect. I can't thank you enough for everything that you did. I will recommend you to anyone and everyone. And I know who gets married in the future. You did an amazing job and made the night more perfect than I can imagine. And said, would also recommend your services. Yes. Can we use you for references? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, you know, that's just one of those things where I know I've got the bride on my side now. I know I've got mom on my side. And that's where, you know, all my referrals are generated from either, you know, clients or from vendors. You know, it's just, we don't do, you know, a lot of advertising unless it's ends up being a little, you know, free. And, but we don't really advertise in magazines and stuff like that. And I think that works really great for a lot of people out there. But if you can generate those referrals from the events you're doing, it's a lot less expensive way of doing it, isn't it? And I think that's that secret to it, is that, you know, find those moments you can hang on to. And you don't have to, again, nobody in that room knew that I set up that moment. But I guarantee you, you know, when someone says, what do you think of your DJ or whatever, you know, we're looking at getting married, she's going to share with them the stuff that we, you know, were able to do. And so that I'm not worried about at the event getting credit for setting something like that up. Most of what we do is behind the scenes and the guests never even see it. At least that's how it should be. But I think it also makes it to where, for me at least, you know, I don't like to do McWedding. I always like to find those, you know, little things where you can make it personal. You can personalize it, make it unique to the couples themselves, because it makes your job a whole lot more fun, and a lot less, and just a lot less repetitive when it comes to everything. So, oh, hey Matthew, thanks for subscribing. We also got some others joining us here. We got Corey. Corey, great to see you in the chat there. Welcome to the live stream. And again, if you guys have questions, toss them in the chat there. And if you don't know where the chat is, if you're on your mobile devices, you might have to click a little arrow down below you to actually see it. But we'd love to hear from you inside that chat there. So we got still got a few minutes left in this. But let me know if you guys had any powerful moments that you want shared. And you know, I'd love to share them on the chat here. I've had a few people who kind of wrote in some moments. They didn't have any photos or video footage that they were able to do, but Corey says, what services do you use to record the audio from the phone? So that audio itself came from, say, I think from my mixer board directly into the videographer's camera, because he just kind of gave me that clip. Because he did send me the other point of view as well from the other camera, which had a different audio source on it. But if you're working with a videographer, they'll usually put that stuff together for you. I always record with, at my events, the toasting, the ceremony, those moments, because I never know what I want to use. And also I usually record it because nice little touch after the event itself is that I'll send the clients a Dropbox link to download the audio of their ceremony and the audio of the toasting. Plus, I always do usually the kind of what we call the recap farewell, where I'll mix in the vows and mix in either the vows or the toasting from the guests into the last song of the night, as we do a big farewell dance. And I always get a call on Monday where it's like, is there any way we can get a copy of that? So it's nice to be able to provide that for them. And two different ways that I do that. I use the Tascam recorder, which I actually have. This little Tascam here. Oh, come on. There I'm at. And I'll put a little, just link it to the model number and stuff. But basically it's got an input on the top, and it's also got microphones and stuff. But this is what I use just to record the audio coming out of my board for the ceremony. Then just plug it into my computer and transfer the file over. And that's just because the laptop I use for ceremony, it's one of the tablet laptops. It's touchscreen, but it only has either an audio out or an audio input on there. It's not, I just have it to set up to play some basic music by using the touch screen. But at the reception itself, then I end up using the Sony Vegas, because again, I use Vegas for a lot of stuff, whether it's video editing or making montages and stuff. But one of the things Sony Vegas can also do is you can add in I'm going to switch back to the screen here. You can also add in, say an audio track. Make this bigger again for you. And be able to select, we can what we're able to do is we can actually arm down at the bottom here, arm that audio channel, and we're just going to save it to desktop, hit OK. And right now what it's doing is, we can see here, is that it's recording the audio from the microphone here. So if we wanted to bring the volume of it up, then we can as well for recording purposes. And so I'd have the volume set a little bit louder in the recorder here. But then when we're done, one of the things I love about this as far as editing is, there's a couple shortcuts. So as, say, the toasting's going on, if I hear something I want to use during that last song, maybe an area, it's like, ooh, they said something really cool, all I have to do is hit M on my keyboard and it puts a little mark there, so I know what to go back to. And then I can take all my little marks that I made, and we stop our recording, and then we're able to take those sections, and usually I'll just kind of copy the sections I want. To create the moments I'm going to use in the song. And one of the things I love about Vegas is that if I'm playing this clip and it's, I left too much in there, I can just grab this little area, the left side or the right side, and I can either extend it out. So that's the end of the clip. But like this one still has more. It's like, I cut her off from what she was saying. Well, I don't have to research and re-highlight and select a bigger clip. I can just extend that clip because all the information's still there all the way, to the end of the track. So I can make those adjustments, be able to put them together, and then make my, recording of clips that I want to use. So I think it makes things, go a little bit faster. Sony definitely isn't the best way to go when it comes to some of the audio plugins, because there's, Adobe Audition, stuff like that has a lot more tools when it comes to like making it sound better. But if you have, good sound going into it, then you don't have to deal too much with that. Sometimes like one of the tools I love on like Adobe Audition, stuff like that, is that you can, if you've got a fountain in the background, you can sample that noise from the fountain and it will eliminate that noise in your clip. And haven't been able to do that with with Sony Vegas. What's the name of the software? Vegas? Yeah, it's Sony. Basically, Sony Vegas. This is Sony Vegas 13. I think they're up to like 15 now or something. But really, for what we do, you don't need the really expensive one, because that's like $800-900. Sony Movie Studio is a basic one, and it allows you to do. I think it's like up to 8 tracks, but take a look, make sure I'm correct. It will allow you to do multiple tracks, but the difference between that version and this one is that, this one I've got unlimited tracks that I can do, which we never use. And the other one's got some, this one has some probably video tools that I don't know about that videographers would use for actually making videos and stuff. But the basic one is what, everybody ends up using, and it still records and everything. So, and then I can just drag tracks and stuff into here. So yeah, another idea I'd love to share with you guys, but copyright issues with sound and music is usually I'll do I'll make a track, whatever ending song I'm going to do, I'll make a track where it'll go through the first verse and chorus, and then go into an instrumental. I'll do that ahead of time. So now I've got, part A and part B. The part A goes beginning of the song, chorus, into an instrumental, and that instrumental will go for like 2 minutes or so, and then part B is just back into the chorus to the end of the song, so that it makes editing and putting the song together a lot quicker at the event. I'm not trying to edit the song at the event. That's already done. All I have to do is edit the tracks and put them into that right area. So we do have some questions here. Is there a particular song you use for working the snippets into the toast into? No, not in particular. Sometimes the clients will pick a slow song as the ending song. And if I'm able to make a mix out of that I know that it's a song they love. I've done it to where I've used the first dance song and just replayed it and said, we're going to end the night the same way we began it, but this time with, friends and family surrounding them. And, but I've also used stuff like All of Me has a great, segue into kind of a portion of the song after the first chorus that you can use. And then I just, downloaded a piano version of All of Me, which ended up sounding really great for it. This past weekend we used, I can tell you. We've got, and then I made this mix ahead of time just because I really like the song. And if you guys haven't listened to it, take some time, do a search for it. It's a really great song. And I think I'm gonna I have to pause this really. Whoa. All right, now bring my mic back. Sorry about that. So the song we ended up using for the ending, part A, let's see. Oh, end of evening. But I did this with the All of Me mix as well. And let's see. Yeah, with everything in here, I'm probably not going to be able to find it right away. So yeah, John Legend, All of Me, we've got kind of a 3-part mix because I have the intro. I basically have the intro of the song into an instrumental, and then in the same track, I've got the slow ending, but I've also got the high energy ending, which is the remix of All of Me. And so if I want a more of a high energy ending, then I just hit, Q3 on my mixer and it goes into the high energy. If I want a slower part, I go into, Q2 on my mixer, and it goes into the slower part of the ending, and which helps out a lot. Because sometimes I will record these ahead of time as far as before I actually hit play at the event. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have my track say here for the vows, and on my DJ software I'll start playing the song, and when it comes time, then I can use my mixer to control volume levels. So as I hit play, last song, maybe as I hit play on the vow recordings there, then I can control the volume of it on the mixer to where it's going to sound the best in the room. And then later on, if they want to copy, then I'll kind of do a down mix and put them into the song itself. Yeah, Odyssey is free and less memory intensive, absolutely. And check that out as well. Odyssey, Audacity. I'm sorry, not Odyssey. Audacity is the name of the program. And it's got some really great features for editing as well. There's a lot of free options out there, and most computers will have some kind of recording program. But I think the editing itself, you can make go a little bit faster if you've got a program that has some of those keystrokes where you can mark certain areas. But you can get around that as well, where if you hear something really interesting as it records that you want to you're going to want to use, write down the time that it happened, minute 32 into the track, go back and listen to that part. It would make things a lot easier. So let's see. The next question. Do you ever use video message have you used video messages like that? Yeah, absolutely. We've done, I've had people like Skype in, usually with video. I try and do it ahead of time. It can be, I talk on the Projectors DVD, we talked about like being able to Skype in relatives just using your phone and a projector and stuff. And that's one of those where, Skyping someone in, you're kind of dependent on how's the internet, how's their internet, what's going on, what's the traffic like, and you just hope that it goes off smoothly, because anything can happen and you don't want to kind of destroy the moment. And so I usually try and have them, Skype in ahead of time and record the Skype, and let them give their messages that way. You can have them, especially with phones these days, give them some guidance, go to a well-lit area, have someone record this on put the phone on something solid so it doesn't shake. But then you sometimes have to deal with audio that could be a little less than desired. You may have to go in and edit the audio. But yeah, video clips, I think adding that visual is extremely, adds just a little bit more emotion and a little more power to it, and being able to see their face. I think at the Las Vegas DJ show, when I was doing the presentation on projectors, I actually did kind of a moment, which is I'll have to add it to the YouTube page and so you guys can see it. But I brought up a DJ who was at the conference, and started talking to him about his kid, because he was someone who he always posted photos of his kid like every day. And you can tell he's just a very proud daddy. Loves his kids, loves his family, puts them first no matter what. And, I respect that. I love it. And so what I did ahead of time is basically, kind of let you know what happened first. We brought him up on stage. I said, "Oh yeah, so do you have photos of your kid?" He's like, "Oh yeah, okay." He had to go get his phone. So he grabbed his phone, came back up, and I started showing him, like, "Yeah, check this out." And I started showing him photos of, Maverick, my son. And the photos started popping up on the wall. And showing people, like, just with the phone, you can, do really cool things like that. I go, so, and I said, "Show me another one." So he's looking at his phone, pulling up another photo of his son. And while he's doing that, I just had, double clicked on my phone, went into Skype, which I already had a Skype call already made to his house on the other side, across the United States, where their nanny was watching their, 1-year-old child. And all of a sudden he looks up and sees his kid up on, the wall. He's like, okay, how? And, I wanted to be able, especially at the conference, to be able to kind of help try and create that emotion, because, that's something we can never share. Yeah, every client's different, and clients are going to be emotional when stuff like that happens. But you yourself aren't going to be as emotional about it usually, unless you're at the event or that person or you're close to them. And so I wanted to be able to kind of put someone in that situation and show that, video and audio and things like that have a huge impact, on the event, and to be able to create and be a part of creating those moments. It's going to make your phone ring on Monday and, have you cashing checks by Tuesday is what I always say. Booking events, people calling you, going, not going how much, but they're like, what dates are you available? Because we're looking at facilities and we want to, book it around when you're available. That's the biggest feeling I, look for. I love it. It happens every once in a while when a client calls you and going, "Hey, we're picking our date based around if you're available or not. So what dates are you available?" Wow. It doesn't feel like a job anymore at that point. They want you to be a part of their day, and at that point you're pretty much going, "Ah, God, I love you guys. Yeah, I already love. I'm in. I'm all in. Whatever you want, you can take it all." So awesome. Okay, so yeah, video we talked about. As for our video, but what service do you use to record the audio for the phone? I use Google Voice, and I actually transferred my business line to Google Voice as well, because there's usually, a small fee. You can transfer any phone number over there. You got to be a little cautious though. I was a little scared at first, because there is no person-to-person tech support. And I was always afraid, like, oh my, my business line is a very unique, number where, I've got 7,000 as the last 4 digits. I'm like, I want to keep this. I don't want to lose this. But there is no person to answer the phone over there. It's all automated. And I was always worried, like, if something happens and I lose it and there's no way to figure out what the heck happened. But so I started with just, you can add a phone number, and that might be free. It might be like a $10 charge or something like that. I think if you just use one of their numbers, it's free. But if you transfer, a line, there's a transfer fee of like $10. Cool thing about Google Voice is that I can actually assign different messages for any amount of phone numbers I want. So, like, for a long time when, Randy called if Randy called me from any one of his phone lines, he wouldn't get, "Hey, thanks for calling Creative Memories Entertainment." He would get, "Thank you for calling tech support. Unfortunately, we are not available at this time." And it went on from there. So, it was just kind of a joke in between us, but you can do that. And, I have just a second line phone number that I used. You have to assign it to an email and also to a phone number. So you have to assign it to a phone number, but you don't have to have it call through. So for example, my Well Wishes line I've got assigned to my wife's cell phone. It never calls through to her phone. It just answers as a message service. And, I have it set to like 1 ring or something. And then you can, it'll send you a notification by email that there was a message left. So yeah, check that out. And it's the other thing is that it's free. There's no monthly cost to it. So yeah, there's no, customer service besides what's online, but the price is great, but so yeah, it's pretty cool. And then you can, I have it set to where it rings all my phones at the same time. It's got a lot of great services attached to it that are also free. So check that out, Google Voice. And like I said, Ian was a beta tester for use. So he's been in it from the start. I've used it probably for the past 3 years. Absolutely no issues with it. And absolutely love it. So, well, I definitely appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you haven't already, check out our Facebook groups, the 1% Solution and Living Motion Monograms. The 1% Solution group is kind of based on performance, improvements. And then, anything that has to do with like techie questions, stuff like that, that's kind of in the Living Motion Monograms group area. Just find us on Facebook, ask to join the group, and we'll get you approved. A lot of great resources there. You can ask questions there anytime you want. You can also leave comments or questions in the comment section below, and I'll do everything to help you out there. And if you haven't already, take a moment and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, and like that. So like Corey just subscribed. Thank you, Corey, for subscribing. And you'll have a little message pops up on the screen there. If you found something helpful with this, hit that like button for me. Let me know that you guys enjoy the content. And, we want to keep rolling that out for you guys. Or if you have ideas, stuff you want covered in future live streams, leave it in the comment section below. And, we'll get cranking on those, on the information for it and get those up and running. And, we'd love to have you guys back next week as well. So we will see you guys next Monday for the next live stream. Right now, we're not sure. It might be 10 a.m., might be noon, but if you subscribe, you'll get a notification. Hit the little bell icon as well next to it. That'll just give you an alert that we went live, and I'll get that info out to you. If it's going to be a little bit earlier in the morning, it may work out better for all of you guys. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. You guys have a great day. Go out there, have a great weekend, and most importantly, hey, go rock those events. Have a good time doing it. We'll see you next time.